I'm Jameson.
And I'm Jamie.
And this is Braden and Maddie.
We recently took a leap of faith, trading in our home in Georgia for some space in my parents' house.
We gave up my high-paying corporate job to pursue our dream of building stuff and empowering others.
Whether we're building a family,
Building a business,
building a house,
or building a table,
we like to do it ourselves.
this is our DIY life. Hey guys, I'm Jameson, and this is Jamie, and this is episode 11 of our dream house build.
And in this episode, we go over a lot of things that happened on the exterior of our home.
Yeah, we've got a lot going on around the house, not just inside, but around with final grade and all this landscaping that we had to do, and we're gonna knock down that process or break down that process and how it all came together. So one of the first things that we did when it came to landscaping was out of necessity. We had to backfill an area where our AC was gonna go, so we placed some rocks there by ourselves, some big boulders just to retain that and then backfill that area so that we could set our AC unit. Obviously, we knew we weren't going to do our big boulder wall ourselves, so we handed it off to our excavation company, and they started bringing in rocks.
They started building the Great Wall of China in their backyard.
It was a really neat process to see. They had a full-size excavator as well as a mini excavator and a dump truck that was constantly bringing in boulders.
Yeah, so the dump truck would drive around back and the kids would be sitting up on the porch with their chairs and popcorn watching the rock show. And it would just like dump all of these boulders and it would shake everything. It was a pretty fascinating process to watch.
It was really neat. And then seeing the full-size excavator and the mini excavator work together to place those rocks just where they needed them and make sure that they were tamped down in place was a really neat process.
Yeah, we knew we needed to make this rock wall really, really stable because we have two kids that were guaranteed to climb up it the second that it was done.
Yeah.
So it is a very stable rock wall, but
Yeah.
it is huge.
So the process of building a rock wall is fairly straightforward. You set the rocks in place, make sure that they fit together nicely, but then also you want to back the rocks with a fabric that's going to allow the moisture to come through but retain the soil and not let the soil erode from behind the rock wall through the rock wall. You can also use that fabric and the soil to kind of lock those boulders into place.
So after the rock wall was in place, the last thing we had to do before we got final grade was put the septic in.
Yeah, and that process, what seemed to be straightforward because this is a lot full of perfectly good sand that we could use for that septic system, turned out to be not exactly the case. Where we thought we were going to get the sand from, our what we'll call a borrow pit, essentially is where they dig a big hole and excavate the sand and put it in the septic system. That turned out to be not so good soil.
No.
So we were about to send the trucks out to go bring in new sand when we had a little hunch and dug in a different spot, and luckily we were able to find the perfect sand on our lot to use for the septic system.
Which saved us a ton of money.
And the septic system, ideally we were hoping to be around just a few feet deep, but it ended up turning into quite the
yeah, it looked like we dug a pool back there.
Yeah.
It was huge.
Yeah, but overall we got that in, set the tanks, ran the line out to the septic system, got our field in, and then backfilled it, and we were good to go for final grade. Now it's time to begin the final grading process, and that all is a little bit more, there's a lot more to it than I thought initially. You have to take into account all the different elevations, whether or not you're going to be putting asphalt in, because then they would have to grade it a little bit lower to accommodate that. You know, where your concrete walkways, like what we're standing on here, is going to go, and just making sure that everything is drained properly. The pitch is correct to get all the water to run away from the house so that we don't have any issues with flooding. So after the final grading process was done, we were well into winter and we weren't able to get as much grass growing as we had hoped for.
Yeah, we actually didn't really get around to a lot of things before winter hit. We weren't able to pour these concrete pads then either. There was a few things that we had to wait on until the spring.
But one thing that we knew during the wintertime was that we wanted to put an ice rink out back. So we put that ice rink in and we made it as big as possible. The problem with that was that we basically created a dam and all of our downspouts weren't routed underground. So all the water that was coming off of the roof and down off of those hills was trapped behind our ice rink and building up and working its way back towards the house.
So all winter we had to deal with the freeze-thaw cycle and the water backing up, and we had pumps running all the time. So we knew when spring hit, we needed to deal with these drainage issues.
So what we did was we rented a trencher and we cut a couple lines in the ground and buried drainage lines from the downspouts all the way out to the back of the property, making sure that they were pitched accordingly so that all the water would run out of the back and underground and away from our house. So then it was time to actually pave the driveway. And obviously this was a process that we hired out. We had a crew come in and pave the driveway, and they did a really good job. We did 2 courses, and basically what that means is 2 separate layers. They can only go 3 inches at a time per layer, and then they compact it down to 2 inches. So they did that twice to give us a final thickness of about 4 inches.
Yeah, and actually the process was a lot quicker than I thought.
Yeah.
I don't know why I assumed it was going to take them hours upon hours to do this, but I felt like the driveway happened really fast.
Yeah, they were in and out of here in a day, and they got everything done, which was pretty remarkable. They had a bunch of guys going, one on the paving machine, as well as a couple of rollers going and making sure everything was nice and compacted. So then it was on to the sod. The cool thing about sod, or so we heard, is that instant lawn, instant thick, lush lawn. It's gonna be great. We found a really good deal on it, so we got, you know, I think it was about a 25 to 27 cents a square foot, which worked out pretty good. And we were excited about the fact that we were gonna have this new instant lawn.
However,
there is a lot of work involved in laying sod.
it is not a fun job.
It is not. We had 12 pallets of sod delivered.
Yes,
and,
which is about 10,000 square feet of sod. That's what we got.
And the idea with sod is that once it's delivered, you want to install it immediately.
Yeah.
Ideally, you want to install it the same day because they cut the sod in the morning and then they deliver it, and then you want to get it laid out the same day.
Yes.
However,
well, we had our sod delivered on Friday.
Yeah, and we were getting a lot of sod. So the idea was to have it delivered on Friday, move it all around the lot, get it situated, and then Saturday morning go at it hard until we got it done.
that didn't happen because we woke up Saturday morning and it was pouring rain, which meant our lot was a complete mud pit and there was no way that we could lay sod on Saturday. So we had to delay it one more day to Sunday morning, and we got on top of it right away. And it's an awful job.
It is. It was, I don't know, we started at 8 o'clock in the morning. We probably got done around 3 or 4 in the afternoon. And it was just a back-breaking job, hauling the sod everywhere it needed to go, laying it, positioning it just right.
Then it started to rain, so then it just made everything muddy. And we're just covered from head to toe in mud and sore and angry at life. But we have grass.
And by this time, we had to lay the sod. If we waited any longer, then the sod was just going to die. So we needed to get it. We needed to get it down on the ground. So we pushed through the rain. Luckily, we had some friends come out and help.
We roped our videographer into laying sod. It was great. It was a fun time.
It was not terrible. But however, the next day we regretted it. I think a lot of people.
Everybody was sore.
Everybody was very sore. It's good to get a good workout in.
Sure, but I never want to do it again. But 10,000 square feet was not nearly enough sod to cover everything, so we still have to put grass seed down and grow some grass.
But it was a good start, so yeah, like Jamie said, we're gonna seed the rest and hope it blends in over the next few years. So with the grass in and spring is here, everything's starting to bloom, it's time to start maintaining all of this stuff. So luckily we have our sponsor, Ryobi Outdoors, who has provided us with some very cool tools.
Yeah, my favorite being the lawnmower.
So we got a 100 amp hour, 0-turn, battery powered lawnmower from Ryobi, and this thing is sweet.
It is so much fun, even if you're not cutting the grass. Sometimes I just take it down to go get the mail.
So the nice thing about it is it's perfectly silent, and when the blades are on, it just basically sounds like 2 high-powered fans underneath of you. The other cool thing is that it's got a lot of torque. Since it is electric, it can handle just about anything that a gas mower could, and it will mow up to 3 acres on a single charge. They also hooked us up with an 18-volt battery-powered fogger, which is perfect for out here. Obviously, we're in the woods. We've got some wet lower areas that are going to attract mosquitoes and the like, so we wanted something to be able to knock out all of those bugs, and the battery-powered fogger is perfect for that. Jamie also has this weird obsession with pressure washing everything.
It's not an obsession, it's just really fascinating.
So Ryobi sent us a couple of different pressure washers to test out, one being their 1800 PSI electric pressure washer, which I thought would be perfect for by the garage pressure washing cars and stuff like that.
And it has been. I've washed everybody's car. I've washed the Bobcat. I've washed the tractor.
It's nice because you plug it in and you hit the on button and it starts. You don't have to worry about gas or any of that comes with a gas-powered combustion engine. But they also sent us their high-powered 3600 PSI gas-powered pressure washer, which is gonna be perfect for pressure washing the house and getting all of that
the big stuff.
The stuff off of the
everything.
House.
You can power wash everything. It's amazing.
The other thing we had to gear up for with spring is spraying our fruit trees. If you guys have followed us in the past, you know that we've got some apple trees and pear trees out back, a little orchard, some might say.
A little orchard.
So Ryobi's got an 18-volt backpack sprayer, which is perfect for spraying them with the fruit tree sprays,
Yes, it
sprays to make sure that all the bugs are off.
And it makes the job, a battery-powered one, so much easier than the whole pumpy thing you gotta do and then the spray. So, made my life a lot easier.
They've also got this sweet new 40-volt backpack blower that can run off of not only one 40-volt battery, but two. The cool thing about it is that since it's battery powered, you don't have that engine that's running all the time, so it's nice and silent most of the time you're using it. So thank you Ryobi Outdoors for sponsoring this episode of our Dream House Build. If you want to learn more about all the tools that they have to offer, make sure you check them out at ryobitools.com, and they're all available for purchase exclusively at the Home Depot. So with the sod and the driveway in, the next step was adding a basketball hoop. We had to have a basketball hoop, and just so that, you know, our kids could make memories and all this stuff.
Yeah, and he could make memories.
Okay, all right, so it might have been a little bit selfish on my part. I wanted to have a nice basketball hoop out front because, Jamie, it needed to be nice to match the house and the barn, and
yeah,
you know,
so only the best.
Nice. So we went with Gorilla, and they provided us a hoop, and we put that sucker in, and it is a tank.
It is huge, and it is amazing and beautiful. I love it.
Yeah.
I do. I love the basketball hoop.
So that will be fun going from here on out. We also installed a hoop light to go over top of it and provide light for some nighttime basketball.
Yeah.
Hopefully the neighbors don't get too upset with us.
They already love us. Ice rink in the winter.